Hey guys, welcome to K-Racer. If you haven't already noticed, we've recently uploaded a new website. It's the culmination of a couple of months of really hard work by myself and a number of people behind the scenes. We're really proud of the job that we've done. We think the new site makes it really easy to find the parts that you're looking for. It looks sweet, and the most important thing, it's mobile responsive. So now you'll be able to check out the site while you're sitting on the dunny reading your phone. Don't pretend you don't do it. Last week, I asked you a hypothetical question. And that is, well, actually not really a hypothetical, a real question. If we're sitting in a van and we're driving on a straight piece of road and a big crosswind picks up, how is it that the van manages to drift off the road? And why is it that we need to steer into the wind in order to keep ourselves on track? It doesn't really make obvious sense. If the wheels are pointed straight ahead, shouldn't the van go straight ahead? What's a crosswind got to do with it? And I asked you to comment in the comments section and guess what was going on, and not many people got the answer right. So I'm glad I asked the question. I think this is a complicated and difficult to understand piece of dynamics, but it's really important because this is the physical truth about how karts perform on the track, and understanding it is one of the keys that will give you a real jump forward in your understanding of kart setup. So I asked you, what's happening between the wheel, the rubber, and the road that's allowing the vehicle to travel in a direction where basically the wheels aren't pointing? Why do we need to steer to go straight? Or if we keep the wheel straight, why do we drift off the road? The first thing I want you to imagine about your wheel is that it's not just a wheel with a tyre on it. I want you to imagine instead that if we're looking at the wheel from the outside of the van, that it's a whole bunch of legs sticking out like this in a fan. Hundreds of them if you like, but rather than one big ring, I want you to imagine that your tyre is actually a bunch of little legs sticking out. And so you can imagine that at any given point in time, only a few of them are actually touching the ground. I want you to imagine your contact patch as a number of legs in a row touching the ground, one after the other like that, rather than as this big ring of rubber. It's easier to imagine this if we go with this model. So imagine your tyre as a bunch of feet, one after the other, touching the ground. So firstly, when there's no crosswind, how does this look? How does the contact patch draw a path along the ground? And I'm actually going to try and draw some feet so that you get the sense of the legs walking along. So if we're going in a straight line, we've simply got a bunch of feet, left, then right, then left, then right, walking along in a straight line, and that's drawing the path where our tyre, where our wheel, and where our vehicle is going. And now we introduce a crosswind. And what's that wind going to do to us? If we imagine ourselves as the tyre as actually a person walking along, the legs one foot after the other like that, what does that do to us? If we're getting pushed in the side as we're taking a step, what happens? We don't draw a straight line with our feet, do we? So if we imagine our first left foot step is there, but we're being pushed from our right, maybe our right foot step will start to cross over, and in order to stay underneath, and then the left foot is even further to the left. The right foot again. And so you can see that if we were trying to go in a straight line here, but our feet are actually drawing a path on an angle to that straight line. And the harder we're getting pushed from the side, the greater that angle is going to be. This angle here is called slip angle. That's a horrible name for it, by the way, because the tyre isn't slipping. It's actually gripping. These feet aren't skidding along the ground. We've got 100% traction here. It's just that the traction is not drawing a path in exactly the direction that the rim is pointing. So this is the concept I want you to take away here. The tyre, the contact patch, is not necessarily drawing a path in exactly the same direction that the rim is. And in fact, whenever there's a side load involved, it isn't drawing the same path as the rim. It's actually drawing a path at an angle to where the rim's pointing. And it's this angle that has a huge impact on kart handling and kart characteristics. So I'm going to finish with another question and come back to this next week. This is a really complex and involved thought experiment that we need to understand in order to really get a handle on it. So my question is, what things that you change on the go-kart are going to affect slip angle and how? Have a think about it, add some comments below. Catch you again in a week's time.